Greetings. Good morning. Um, so the idea I'm going to talk about today kind of comes from my own experience, kind of a mindset that I've developed over time. My most of my work history is with the military, retired. So, having come through that, times for those of you who have been through it or have friends and family have been through it, it's very difficult at times. There's a lot going on, a lot of requirements, mental, physical, emotional, that it takes to get through even one tour, one deployment, much less a career. A lot of the learning happened on deployments. My own growth happened on those a lot of the times. I mean, throughout my military career, but deployments can be especially hard. There's a lot to do. And downtime is few and far between. We are pretty much 24/7 working in some capacity. So to get through that, we have to find our own path. Now, a lot of the training we received was on, set your goals. We'd have a little notebook. We'd write down our goals for the week, our taskings for the week, even the day sometimes, depending on how busy we were, to get stuff done. What I learned about myself is that setting goals it's not as optimal for me. They work, but I don't find them to be as effective. Now, if they work for you, great, not a problem. Keep doing that. But I found that keeping a steady pace and projecting out milestones that I knew needed to be met, tasks that were coming up, were just another milestone on a much longer path. On top of that, as you well know, the military requires a lot of physical fitness to maintain ourselves for anything that we may encounter. Those long hours, long days required not just the mental, but the physical requirements to be able to even do it. Over time, with the physical fitness, I found myself gravitating toward a love of running. And most people, I don't think, love running. I actually liked running a lot. I really did. I found it to be very cathartic, very relaxing, and I could just kind of turn all my thoughts off for a little bit, or at least turn them down. So during this time, I don't know exactly when it happened. I don't know when I defined it for myself. But I came up with, and I'm sure it's not a unique concept, but I call it the marathon mindset, where I don't set goals, I just have milestones. And it's semantics, probably. But semantics matter because it's about the psychological aspects of what we're going through, of what we're doing. And it became not just a military mindset that I had, not just a physical fitness mindset, but even kind of a life mindset. The marathon mindset, it just kind of grew into my everyday life, where I'm not setting a goal for the week. It's a milestone, but I understand that next week, the week after, the month after, even the year after, there's further milestones, and I'm going to have to pace myself because it changes. A milestone that's just around the corner might not be there, might change. So over time, it helped me to be more dynamic and be able to change with the flow a lot better than goal setting. And the first thing that I had to do was focus on my mental training, the psychological aspects of going from goal setting to milestones. It's not that we never really stop. It's more of a pause instead of a stop, I guess you could say. But it's always about we've accomplished something, but what's next? Am I approaching my next milestone from the right direction to propel me to the milestones after that? Or am I hitting this milestone and I'm going to have to slow way down and change directions? So it's that mental idea of what that next milestone is going to look like, what the one I'm approaching looks like, what the one after that's going to look like. Developing visualizations and even exercises to help me focus, visualize what's coming up. Now, a lot of my experiences, as I said, come from deployments. That's where a lot of growth happens. And that's where a lot of the concepts that really grew around this developed is, deployments, they're months, even years long. So to get through that, I had to develop ways of learning to think and pace myself through the different evolutions, events that were going on. A lot of the times, I could keep a nice steady jog, mentally speaking. Other times, I had to run. I had to run from milestone to milestone. It's difficult. I'm not a sprinter. Occasionally, yes, we'd have to sprint mentally to get stuff done, but that's hard. And once we got to that point, we really had to look at course correcting or slowing ourselves down so that we didn't burn out before we got to the next milestone. And that's just kind of where the visualization really, really helped. Because over time, we'd learn to focus, as I said, focus and visualize the milestones that are coming up. But at the same time, when it gets especially busy, You even have to break that down and focus on the mile that you're on. And understand that right now we've got to get through this particular mile that we're on. That's that small milestone that's just up ahead. There's a lot in the way. There's a lot of debris and detritus that we may have to bob and weave and jump over, maybe even go under to get to that next milestone, to accomplish whatever that particular milestone indicated. While at the same time, we're focusing on that individual mile, still keeping a visualization of the smaller milestones for the path. And as I talked about with deployments, there's that larger looming milestone that is the end of deployment and what that means. And for those of you who've come back from deployment, you know there's still a lot of work that's done right at the end of a deployment and just after to kind of wind down and stuff. But there's a lot of small milestones along the way to focus on. So there is no, and this is the difference I think with goal setting versus the marathon mindset, is there's no finish line. Really the only thing that changes is the pace you're going and the course or the path that you're on. During my time running, probably like most people, I started off on the track, doing the laps on the track, but after a while, that, especially when you get up to certain distances, that gets very boring very quick. So you go out, you do some road work, running around the base, running down the highways on the shoulder, stuff like that. In the end, for me personally, I found trail running. I love trail running. But it is a lot more dynamic. And I think that's part of the reason that I liked it. It's the beauty of the environment as well as the dynamic of focusing on even down to each footstep, depending on the terrain. Running, because there could be tree roots, there could be rocky, gravelly surfaces, it could be sand. So you had to learn to focus and really be in that moment. And I think that's one thing that helped me focus better during certain parts of my life is having that distance mindset, that marathon mindset of being able to be in the moment, to focus, and to pace myself for those smaller milestones and the larger ones down the road. So kind of breaking up my life marathon into smaller chunks. The next part, obviously, discipline. Focusing on each mile is great. Focusing on the milestones is great, but you still have to maintain a certain level of discipline to do it. And it's just one of those things that over time it becomes a habit. And discipline equals habit, habit equals discipline. Something that you can grab hold of, focus on, and just develop it almost to the level of an obsessive habit. That will create your discipline for these times in your life, to help you get through each mile and then help you visualize and get to each of the different milestones in your life, whether that be your personal life or even your work life as you go up the ladder and get more responsibilities. But you can't go too fast all the time. Even with your discipline, you got to be careful. You got a long path. I mean, life, your career, it's a long path. Even if you change careers, you're still looking at your work career, your life career. So being able to find a way to maintain your patience on this. You may see the next milestones right there. Maybe it's a large one and you're like, yes, let's get to it. But unfortunately, and this was a large mistake I made in my physical training for getting up to a marathon. I was so close to, in my first attempts at running a marathon. My training, I was getting up on in mileage. It was just wonderful. And I was this close. And I pushed myself. I could see the end. I could see me running that marathon. I was right there. And I pushed myself. I was like, yes, this is it. I just need a few more miles under my belt and I will be ready. And I pushed myself too hard. I lost patience that I needed to have. And I ended up hurting myself. And I'm still recovering from a lot of that. And probably always will. So even with your milestone, just right there in front of you, pace yourself. Be patient with yourself. Another key thing while you're developing patience with yourself. You're going to make mistakes in this run. You're going to mess stuff up. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. Do not, under any circumstances, insult yourself. Don't denigrate yourself. This is you and your life path. Learn. If you make a mistake, don't curse yourself out. This is a part of that mental training that you need to have. Because you're going to learn from what you tell yourself. Not just what others tell you, but what you tell yourself. You're going to be your own worst critic, and you're going to learn from yourself. There's a lot of books out there about that, of what it means when you insult yourself, when you denigrate yourself. Don't do it. Don't be tempted to do it. You fall, get up. You discuss, okay, why did I fall? What can I do to prevent falling next time? Learn. That's the only focus you need to have through all this, is learning. Learning will help you on all aspects of this. It's learning. You'll be able to better understand what pace you need to have, what the next milestone, visualizing what that next milestone is going to look like. So learn from the errors. Learn where your areas of improvement need to be. Learn what your strengths are, and lean on those strengths when you need to. But learn what your areas of improvement are, and learn how to build on those. One of the areas of improvement that I learned I needed to do, especially again on those deployments, is mental toughness. To my knowledge, there is no shortcut here. This is one of those things that you're just going to have to develop over time. You have to. Whether you are physically going out and running a marathon, a half marathon, quarter marathon, full marathon, ultra marathon, you have to develop mental toughness to get through it. But you have, there's no choice. Think of it like physical fitness. Okay, to get to the next level in physical fitness, you have to toughen your body. You have to get stronger. That takes time. That takes proper nutrients, proper diet, proper patience. It's a balance. But to get to that next level for your physical and mental toughness, you have to develop the methods to get there. On top of the deployments, there was a span of my time where I was what's called a geo-bachelor. My spouse was a geo-spouse as well. Other than deployments, probably even above deployments, that was the most mentally, emotionally, even physically challenging part of my life. Much less military career, just my life as a whole, being separated from my family. It's not pretty. Going through a lot of depression. I'm sure some psychological issues, anger, frustration. But just have to find a way through. Obviously I did. My family, we're still together, still a loving family, but it was rough, missing a lot of what my family did, what my kids did. It's difficult. But learning to even break up that into small milestones to get through. When is the next time I'm going to see them? When is the next event that I'm going to be able to attend? My kids are having a sporting event or some sort of little school play or whatever it might be. Am I going to be able to be there for it? When are their life events, and how can I participate in that? But then sometimes the planning, life, yes, I want to go to this thing, but unfortunately my career in the military, things change, and I couldn't attend. And I had to be able to change directions. Mentally. Change directions. Get through that. And aim for the next milestone of being with my family. It's tough. There's no easy way other than to go through. I wish I could give you a shortcut, but you're going to have to go through some very rough times on your marathon of life. But even going through those times, and you're going to do it, and I'm going to tell you not to do it, but you're still going to do it. Don't denigrate yourself. Don't talk down about yourself. Don't focus on the negative. I know you're going to ignore me, but do your best to come back. Have an anchor point in your life that will bring you back from these cliffs. And the anchor point is kind of another aspect that we haven't talked about yet, right? We're going. As I said, the marathon mindset, it's not a goal. It's not you reach this milestone and you stop, you're done. No. You reach this milestone, there's another milestone. The only thing that changes is the course and the path, the speed with which the pace with which you go on this marathon. But to get through it, an anchor point for all of this that we haven't talked about yet, refueling yourself. Watch any marathon. There's always refueling stations, right? Water, drinks of some sort. Some of them even provide snacks, muffins, bananas, stuff that refuels the body, gives carbs and potassium for the muscles, energy sources, fruits, nuts, stuff like that. Learn to refuel yourself. Find those psychological refueling stations. And now, maybe that's as simple as taking a nap. Well, like squeaking in a nap every once in a while. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe it's about the food, the actual food you bring in your body. The higher quality foods will do your body better and heal you. Maybe it's a snack. Maybe you want to reward yourself with a ice cream or cookies or cake or something. Maybe for your mental rejuvenation, your mental refueling, spending time with family and friends can be quite rejuvenating. Give yourself some time for meditation or prayer, whatever works for you. Some peaceful, quiet time. Let all the stress of life slow down and push it out, even for a few moments here and there. But you're slowing your pace, slowing yourself down, slowing your mind down, your body, your heart, everything. You're slowing it down. But in the end, you're still never stopping. You still have the visualizations of those next milestones coming. But refueling yourself gives you that extra boost of energy to get there. As we've already covered a little bit, I just kind of want to highlight it, is on this path in your marathon. Understand that things change. Life changes. The road changes. And you have to be willing and able to course correct. Maybe it's a slight change. Maybe it's a complete and total 180. You got to be dynamic in this. Even if you still have the visualization of that next milestone, your path, your course is going to change on how you get there. Even maybe the pace that getting there would require. So be ready to course correct. Never stop visualizing what that next one looks like. But be ready to change how you get there. In the end, it as I said, it's a life path. It's a marathon. There is no finish line. Now in life, obviously, you can say, well, death is a finish line. If you want to say it that way, but at that point, you're on a different path, depending on your belief system. Whether that is a spiritual or a religious or a combination. It's still a milestone in a universal perspective. So for some of you with the religious and spiritual aspects of you, death is but a larger milestone on a much longer path through eternity even. So understand your path. Learn as you go along your path. Research what others have already done. As I've heard said multiple times, the best way to compress years, decades of learning is to learn from others. Read their books, listen to podcasts, watch videos, and compress your learning by learning from others that have already been through those decades of experience. And in this case, for example, go up and to help you develop mental training and mental toughness. Read books on positive thinking, on how to adjust your mindset for setting your milestones and how to stay on that path. Read books about marathons. Read books from people that ran marathons, how their process was for running particular marathons. Read books on training for marathons and kind of see how that translates to your life. Now you can apply those concepts to your life and to your career. As I said, if you're a person that's focused on goals and they work for you, beautiful. Don't stop. But if you're someone like me, goals just have never worked for you. They're non-optimal for you. Try the marathon mindset. See if that helps you along your path. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day.